guys, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's topic is one that, in fact, someone sent this to me and they wanted a bit of advice. It's something I've actually heard a few stories like this, actually quite a lot, and I just thought, you know what, let's just address everything on this platform. If you do have any suggestions, any comments, please do leave everything in the comment section, your experiences, any advice for this person or these people, and let's just dive right in. Right, so basically what it is there's this guy and this lady, husband and wife. The lady constantly complains about how the husband is always verbally abusing her. He calls her names. He is always embarrassing her in public, yelling at her and sort of asserting his masculinity on her, making her know that he's the man in this situation. Whatever she does is never good enough for him. He always calls, other than calling her names, he talks her down and literally just makes her feel completely small, like her opinions are not valid at all. He also makes her know that she's like way down on the spectrum, that his family members are a lot more important than she is, and he's there reporting her to her parents. Whatever it is that she does, he will quickly go off and report, almost like, see your daughter, see what she has done, like he is the victim in the situation. So basically victimizing her and making her feel completely useless, like she actually is a good for nothing in this world, literally. So all of this is just summarizing the key points, and just coming out here to just say, all of these things are really, really unfair. And if you've chosen somebody to be your wife, to spend the rest of your life with, I don't think that you should call them names. I don't think that you should put them down and tell them to keep quiet. I think another thing is that he would hang up the phone on her as well, and she sees this as normal, that if he's angry, he will just shout and then hang up the phone. And you think about things like this and you're like, is this what people actually signed up to marriage for? Is this what people are hearing stories like this and they're thinking, is this is the marriage that I want to enter? This is marriage that people are saying, for better, for worse. And maybe I should not even enter this marriage. Maybe it's just a trap and people are just smiling and suffering and smiling. They're not really happy. They're not really okay. But I'm here to tell you that they're actually good marriages. They are marriages that are not built on lies or, just to deceive public or to impress anybody, but genuinely joyful and happy. And the institution of marriage is that's what God intended for it to be. It's not supposed to be for somebody to be subordinate over the other or to be asserting some sort of power over the other person, whether male or female. This is not this is not what God had in mind. This is not what God planned for the institution of marriage. And a lot of times, you find that people who feel like they are either much older or much wiser than the other person in the relationship tend to assert this knowledge of, I know more than you, so there's nothing that you can really say to me that I don't know already. Then why did you marry them? Did you marry like a slave, somebody that you want to constantly, make? If that's what you want, then go and look for, a place that they are, massaging your ego. It's not marriage that you're supposed to be looking for. You're supposed to be, they will make it clear that they are way older, so they are much wiser. I'm here to put it to you that the wisdom of God is something that is completely different from experience, and experience can come with age. One can be a lot older, sometimes, and be more experienced, but that does not equate to wisdom. Wisdom is given by God, and if God decides to give whoever he sees fit, the person can be way younger than you, and best believe the person can either know more than you, and you can even learn off that person. A lot of times these people are very, very teachable, but they want to be hiding behind, I'm the boss. You want to booger, what's it called? And the fact that you are actually asserting the fact that you are the boss, or you are the man, or you are the alpha female in this relationship should make you know that the fact that you need to prove it, maybe you are really not, because you don't need to physically say it. Your actions should actually speak louder than your words. There's there's this I know that there's this Bible scripture in Job. I'll find it. I think it's Job 31 that talks about Job 32 actually, that talks about how there's a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding. He does not, this context of that whole verse was this young boy who thought that the elders are not going to listen to him because what does he have to offer? They will come and tell him that they are more experienced than he is. But I'm here to tell you that the Spirit of God that is in you is the one that gives and dishes out wisdom according to who he sees fit and what he deems fit, and he can give you what that person needs. He can give you the avenue to say, actually, I actually have sense as well. So right, let's see what we have to advise this this set of people that are actually going through these things. And like I said, if you do have any contributions as well, we are all learning together. None of us know it all. Please add in the comment section below. I tend to find that these people actually feel like they are above reproach, and that anybody that actually tries to correct them, they tend to just come and say, please just mind your own business. You have no clue what this is all about. And I'm sure that this person that you are even talking about, you don't really know who they are. I know them more than you do. And it doesn't really put two and two together. Thinking about that, you're actually thinking that why did I actually get married? Marriage is about intimacy, and sometimes you actually see that these people, they don't want to be intimate with their spouse. In this, I'm not talking about physical intimacy, because that one is even another ball game. You're thinking, how can somebody actually have a sexual relationship with this person when they're harboring so much pain and fear about the person? You almost think that is like a spousal sort of rape situation, because if somebody is not mentally and physically there to give sexual consent, they just feel like if they withdraw this consent, there will be all hell would let loose, so let me just arrange myself. And they're not really feeling like you sort of feel like it's such like a bondage bondage situation and everything that these people are in, and you sit there and you're thinking, this person is actually telling you, there's nothing that this person can actually say that makes them that it will actually sound sensible in their heads. When you actually talk about intimacy means into me see. So if you cannot be transparent, if you cannot put all cards on the table for your spouse, who do you want to be transparent in front of? These people, you actually find that to be corrected even in front of your spouse is a big issue. They are there constantly thinking that, well, this person cannot see me at a vulnerable stage. Basically, I've actually also heard some of these ladies actually say things like, when he's really upset, all I just do is just keep quiet. And nobody's saying that you should add fuel to fire. I just keep quiet, and when he just calms down, he'll come and apologize to me. Which means that you both know that he's actually doing something terrible. And I'm not talking about even anything that is so justified. There's nothing that's justified enough that you should actually get so rude to your spouse that you, number one, even hang up the phone on them, number two, walk out on them, slam doors on them, call them names, and just treat them like lesser citizens than you are. And by the time you finish, you will now come and apologize. What's the apology for? You might as well have a principle way that I try to walk by, and is, if I'm actually going to say sorry, I don't want to say sorry, so I might as well avoid the thing that will make me say that sorry. If you always think like that, a lot of the mistakes and the things that you do, you think twice about them before you actually do them. My next point basically is that a lot of times you actually see that these people, you look at them, and in you looking from social media eyes, you are looking and say, wow, relationship goals. God when. You cannot say God when to somebody that is publicly showing affection but indoors not doing anything. They are there really feeding their wife in public. They are there really hugging their wife and kissing their wife, but the wife and everybody fully knows that behind closed doors there is no form of intimacy except it's time for the D time, the business time. Okay, let's go, contract, enter the bed. No, please. There's a process. You build from there. Don't just come and we don't have a contract work. We're supposed to be partners. We're supposed to be, we're not supposed to be housemates or living bodies or whatever it is. Anyway, a lot of the Bible actually also talks about how you should when wives, submit yourself to your husband, and you would ask, oh, how can I submit myself to somebody that is constantly abusing me? And in fact, I'm already submitted already in my brain, and that's not the kind of submission I'm talking about. How can the neck actually work? How can the head work without the neck? The head will just be like, no stability, because if the neck does not choose to keep the head upright and stable, then you are there wasting your time. So in such a way, you cannot, you the head of the home, cannot perform your functions without the neck. And a lot of times we women, we actually, without us knowing, we control the situations in our home. And you can actually do that. Be strategic about the way you do, about the way you submit, about the way you do things in life, and you treat your husband. And the Bible talks about in is it First Peter, talks about how First Peter 3, how, yes, submit yourselves to your husbands, and so that if any of them do not believe the word, they will be won over by your behavior without words. So obviously, this behavior then leads me to the points that I'm going to talk about. Firstly, praying for your spouse. There is nothing that beats praying for the person that is treating you, weird. Number one, it changes your attitude towards them. It changes your mind towards them. But also, God actually sees your heart, and He will change this person. There are many times that I've said, for instance, I would like to speak to my husband about a certain issue that I know might be sensitive. I would have gone to go and tackle it in prayer before coming to physically speak to him, so that he's already, his response will not be the typical response. And that's why you should not be definite and just say, you as a spouse or as a wife, oh, I know what he's already going to say. You cannot know what he's already going to say. It's only God that can change the heart of a man. The Bible talks about how God turns the hearts of kings, and He can turn the minds of kings, in your favor and everything. So if you have gone to God to address this issue there, then you cannot now be using your mouth to say, I already know what He's going to say. Another thing is praying with the spouse. So if, say for instance, it works in both ways. If two of you are keeping malice with each other, and then you know that you have to do morning devotion together, if you are there standing there, in the name of Jesus, you are praying with this person, and you know that you people have bad blood, the Holy Spirit is definitely going to prick your head, your heart, and tell you that, come, what you are really deceiving yourself. Are you actually praying to me? You better go sort out that issue before you actually come and start praying. So that kind of guilt, the Holy Spirit will put it in your heart. And, if you know that constantly you have to pray with this person, because a lot of times, like, people are fighting, they're not praying together. Because if they were really, really praying together, they are there talking about it with their friends and using it as gossip topic to put the other person down. Nobody's saying that you should not seek help and advice from people that you trust, and that, have sound knowledge on biblical principles, not just, their own experience. They'll come and use it to be advising you. I'm not talking about that one. No. Then, bring everything to God in prayer, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Another thing that I would say is that, pardon me, I just need to look at my notes. No, there's no need to always play the victim. You who's going through the thing, you ask God for the spirit of boldness to actually approach this person. There's something, there's actually a principle or something that I haven't personally tried it, but please try it and let me know. I can't come here and come and say I've tried it and anything works, but it actually sounds sound. And we heard it during one of our marriage counseling, because I think we had two marriage counseling session with two different people. We had it during one of our marriage counseling sessions about, it's called, I think, the handkerchief principle. Basically, you guys go to a public place, and you one person holds the handkerchief. The person that is holding the handkerchief is the person that can speak. When you are in a public place, number one, it's less likely that you would lose your temper in the way that you will if you were in private. Even if you will, it's less likely that it will be the same gravity as you will in private. You're in a public setting, everybody's looking at you. You don't want to come and, especially if you're in this thing, I come and anywhere you are, even if you're not in England, even in Africa, wherever you are, if you hit somebody, everybody can just be like, you okay, what's going on here, and come and try and separate fight. But so if whoever is holding the handkerchief is the person that speaks, please already make the rules beforehand and tell this other person that, please do not talk over me. When whoever is I'm holding the handkerchief, so please allow me to speak. I listened in. You two don't cut in when they are speaking in. I listened in when you were having your own, making your points. So also listen in to me. When it's your turn, I will pass you the handkerchief, and then you can speak. That way, people are having civil conversations back and forth, and it will prevent at least less of, you know, the likely shouting. You know, person might walk out. You know, that's the worst that they can do. You know, maybe give you a slap or two, but you know, I'm sure they'll be met by the authorities before they leave the door of the wherever you people are, in a restaurant or you know. So yeah, so basically that principle sounds like, you know, ACE, you know, in the sense that if you're trying to communicate or pass across a message, you know, to the spouse that you seemingly know that is not going to listen to you or doesn't value your opinion, at least hopefully that should help. Another thing that you can do could be to write your thoughts. So this is one thing that I practice, or we practice in our home. Sometimes it's not every time that, you know, people are actually willing to speak, because you know that sometimes if you're angry and you speak, you might say things that you will regret later on. That thing that I was talking about, come and apologize to say sorry. Actually, this principle, I think my husband uses it quite a bit, because he is the more calmer person in our relationship. So if he is upset, he doesn't want to attack it right there and then, because he doesn't want to, you know, say things that would hurt me. So basically what he would do is he would write it down. He would take time out. He won't keep me in the darkness, you know, and silence, and I'll be wondering, when are you going to speak to me? We are really keeping this malice. So and you know, I would also learn to, yes, I want to speak about it now, but I can also learn to also calm down and say, you know what, yes, I want to speak about it now, but this person is not ready, and I also do not want to be hurt by what they say to me. So what he would do would be to sit down and write down his feelings, how he feels. You know, you might not be a writer, but sometimes you don't have to just collate your thoughts and to just really find out the reason why you're angry, because at the end of the day, after you've shouted, you can actually think, and somebody will ask you, why are you really angry? I don't even know. That thing that she did to me last week, and the one that you now start comparing things that don't even make any sense, that maybe the person has even apologized for. You get that kind of thing. So, you know, writing it down, gathering your thoughts, so that when you are now passing it on to the other person, you are passing it on in the way that, oh, you made me feel, instead of you made me feel this way, pardon me, I felt this way. Right, you know, we are not pointing fingers. You know, you remember in my relationship video, I'll probably link the link up here somewhere. How when we talk about our monthly encouragement, we say, oh, you will be better if you. So instead of you did this, or you know, oh, I really felt this way when you said this. You know, when this was said to me. You know, whatever it is, oh, you are so silly, you are so stupid, you are so dumb, you don't really think when when you act, you know, things like that. And the person can actually step back if they are in their right mind. I'm not talking about just in the restaurant or wherever you guys go for this handkerchief scenario. I've moved on beyond that. I'm talking about just in general, when you're having a civil conversation. You know, you can actually, you can actually, you know, the person, if they're in their right minds, and you know, the tone is set, nobody's angry about anything, nothing has just happened, you know, that kind of thing. If you bring it up and just say, you know, I felt this particular way and everything, and you know, when I'm being called names, it makes me feel like I'm not good enough. The person should actually stop and think and say, actually, that's not fair. I should not be doing this to the person that I so-called love. You know, even if I'm not angry. And then a lot of times you find that these people who are being called names, they just go into their own shell. They actually retreat. They see it as normal. It's no longer, they've actually built a coping mechanism of, you know, a brick wall of, yeah, whatever it is that you want to say to me, insult me all you can, abuse me all you can. And then these people that are abusing them emotionally are preying on their weaknesses. So they know the things to say. They know the names to call them. You are selfish. You never ever think of anybody but yourself. You're sat there thinking, wow, is this really me? You are doubting yourself. So now when you get to a scenario where you're supposed to be confident, when you're supposed to actually, you know, oh, tell me about yourself, you don't really know much about yourself, because somebody has defined you. Somebody has actually told you who you are, and you have believed it. Who does the Bible say that you are? Who does God say that you are? Ask God for the spirit of boldness whenever, you know, to be able to see yourself in a highlight, you know, to be able to also see others in a highlight. I find sometimes that these people have inferiority complex. The people that are actually abusing these other people verbally, they feel terrible about themselves, or they have an insecurity that they are not happy with. So that's why they are there constantly making somebody else feel bad. Because if you are completely okay yourself, why would you deliberately every single time do something? There is a root cause. That is what I would like to say. There is a root cause of that problem, and I feel like you should go and speak to somebody, get help, or most importantly, and in fact in conjunction with each other, and pray about it. Pray to God to heal your heart. There's this book that we actually use in our house. It's by Stormy O'Martian. It's called The Power of a Praying. There's the power of a praying wife. There's the power of a praying husband. There's actually the power of a praying parent, so that you don't even go and start verbally abusing your children and calling them names and making them feel less than they are. You know, a lot of times, in wherever in culturally, where how we've grown up, we grew up with, either hitting, spanking, or like insults, or what are calling names and everything. And yes, for some of us, it made us, stronger. For some of us, but there are some people who are, it's not everybody that is strong mentally. And there are some people that you can actually break. But there are also even the people that so-called are stronger because of the beating and the verbal insults, have actually learned to cope that way. And it can actually breed some behavioral issues later on in life, trust issues, some things that actually later in life you'll be thinking, why am I behaving like this? Maybe I was the strong one. Yes, you were strong, but the thing has now come out in another realm, in another negative realm. So either you are now verbally abusing somebody else later on in life, and you're wondering, where is this coming from? Hey, are you surprised? Where is it coming from? You better trace it back to the strong days that you were really strong. You were the tough one. You chested all the cane, chested all the insults. Yes, they did not. You can justify yourself and say that it has made you better, it has made you stronger. Okay, all well and good, kudos, that's great. It could do that, but there's also the adverse effect. Check yourself and see that actually what I'm actually saying. Check people around you, ask them, do you feel like I get, I'm a narcissist sometimes? Do you feel like I verbally abuse sometimes? Like there might be you don't need to be an extreme to the narcissist, point of view, but you can, already have or show tendencies of, verbally abusing people or wanting to, so I think we should just really check ourselves. Advice to these people who are really going through these things could be bringing it up in a really, really calm time. Don't, and before you bring it up, please pray about it. Don't already assume that this is what you are going to, the backlash you are going to get from your spouse. I know that some of your spouses are really, really angry. I know that they, you fear that they can actually hit you, and maybe they might. I'm not saying, please don't stay there and take everything away. If they are hitting you, please run away, please seek help and everything. But most importantly, just bring things up in a way and in a time where they are trying to hit on your or prey on your weakness. Prey on their conscience as well. Make them feel like they've actually wronged you, but without pointing the finger. Make them you make them tell them that I feel this way, I feel terrible, I feel bad. Oh, I see myself as this small. I wish you could build me up with your words. I wish you could speak to me, even when I'm not doing so well. I wish you could actually encourage me. It makes me feel a lot better. And watch and see what they do. Another tip that I can give to you is that you can actually prop their ego up. Whoever, whether guy or women, you make them feel like they actually know something that, I'm this thing that you really, I really admire the fact that you're so outspoken, about things. Can you teach me how to also be, as bold as you are? Can you show me, how I really, really like the fact that I learned so much from you. I also, in the scenario that I gave at the beginning, this lady doesn't know anything outside what the husband has shown her. And that is sad because, you've gone to school, your parents have paid school fees, you can have your own independence. You can seek knowledge, by yourself as well. And I feel like a lot of times in life, when we actually show value, that we are actually, we don't cow away or shy away. These people can actually say, okay, maybe there's something there upstairs, at the end of the day and everything. And you're not there to obviously prove to them, nobody should be wanting to prove to anybody anything. The fact that I'm the man in this way, I'm the fact that you have to say it, maybe you're really not. So there's nothing to prove, because at the end of the day, you can be there trying to prove that you are valuable, and the person might see it as a threat. The person might actually think that this one, so you think that you know past me, I be me, pay your school fees or whatever. I was the one that provided this, I was the one that provided that. So a lot of times, just use the wisdom of God. Finally, I think I would like to say one or two things, advice to these spouses who are insecure or who are causing this emotional distress. Don't give excuses that you are better than the next person. Ask for God to soften your heart. Don't give excuses. Don't justify the reasons why you are acting in a certain way and say because they did this, they did that. Just ask God to soften your heart. Be intimate beyond the physical aspect, beyond sex. Please be, figure out how you can, touch the heart of your spouse. Because you find that these people, they are now nice to other people. They are going out to get advice from other people, and then they are treating the people in their house terribly. You don't do that. Be transparent, be vulnerable with your spouse. I know it's easier said than done. And why do you marry them? Pride comes before a fall, and you don't know it all. Everyone has their strengths, everyone has their weaknesses. You don't know how this other person can actually help you in life. Do not belittle them. If you are in a country, in a business together with your spouse, or just just parenting, a co-partnership, whatever it is that you're doing, you find that you have your strengths and your spouse has their strengths, which is why God puts both of you together. So please, and please, I beg you in the name of God, don't make people feel small. Check whatever it is that you are struggling with or has been a scar in your own life from the past, and deal with that issue. Ask for help. Pray to God. Pray for your spouse. Pray with your spouse. Don't talk down on them. Communicate in ways that is civil. Don't yell at them. Go into public if that's going to help you, and everybody talk one after the other. Write things down if that's going to help you collate your thoughts and calm down. Thank you so much for listening. If I didn't have anything else to add, I'll let you know. Finally, I think I should add that when you do bonding things together as a family, they don't need to cost much money. It will grow the intimacy between yourselves. If you're a growing family, or even if it's just you and your spouse, or if whether you have children that are still in the house or have moved out or are still growing up, you can do things together. Go out on walks, talk to each other. Don't just feel like one person is the provider, the other person is the carer. Well, at least I'm doing my dutiful task, so that's what I'm bringing to the table. Marriage is beyond that. It's beyond duty. It should be, it should be something that you are doing with intimacy, with joy, with happiness, with friendship, and you just ask God for help to whatever it is. You find that a lot of these people, they don't spend time with each other. One person is always out and too busy working, so there's never any time. There's always that relationship, that subservient relationship of okay, you are here now, okay, let's bring your food for you, okay, you are finished eating, okay, okay, yes sir. It's almost like a yes sir. You might not say the yes sir, but it's remaining small, you say the yes sir to this person. If this person is really, really your friend, how can you build friendship? Go out together, you do things together. It doesn't have to always entail money, but if you can spend money to make it extra worthwhile, please don't hesitate to do so. It is your life, it's your relationship, it's nobody else's relationship. If you don't make it work, nobody else will make it work for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content, and please like, share, and subscribe. And if you do have any comments, any questions, please don't hesitate to leave down in this comment section below. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.